C, a motion to overturn the mayor's veto of the board February 13, 2012. Motion to dismiss the village manager, Henrietta Turner, without call pursuant to paragraph 7 of her contract, strictly for financial reasons. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a question for Mr. Mohan. Did you not
Can't hear you.
state, Mr. Mohan, did you not state a week ago or so that you and the village manager came up with a way to meet the salary of both the police chief and the village manager?
Yes.
You did. And that's a sound, creative proposal that you have for us?
Based on the information what I got as of that day, it was okay.
Is okay.
Yeah.
So right now you do have the salary.
But moving forward, the expenditures relating to professional services are going skyrocketing. There's no way we can hold on to, not to pay the professional services.
So we need to watch how we spend some more, correct?
It's going
And has it also been noted that the overtime, Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, that the overtime in the police department and in the surroundings and in this suburb has been decreased by at least 15 to 20%?
would you repeat it, Mr.
Is it also safe to say that the expenditures or the overtime that has been created in the past has been decreased by at least 15 to 20%?
Yes, definitely it is.
It has.
That decreased.
And with that information, you can actually pay the village manager her salary along with the police chief.
That I don't know. Once again, I have to check once again because the information, whatever I got from Chief Fox, right now as it is, of course, what you say is right. But moving forward, I'm not sure if it is not curtailed, the overtime is curtailed. I do not know what would be the consequences.
Okay, but what we have created along with the village manager without the decrease in overtime would allow you to pay the village manager salary. As long as we spend within our reasons, correct? The village.
Probably, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Myers.
Mohan, is that still calculated in the possibility of we might get the 3% increase?
Yes, definitely.
That's still.
Yes,
There hasn't been a confirmed positivity we're going to get that.
it is positive we're going to get it.
We're going to get it.
Yeah, 3% is definitely we're going to get it. I'm 100% positive.
Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Williams.
You talked about the increase, the positive. Is it safe to say that the professional services have increased by 3%?
It has increased more than 3%.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering how we were going to balance out. And then I guess my other question would be just to state that overtime, if there has been an overtime decrease, a report, if we could receive that as a board, that might be some information we would like to know. If it's gone down by 15 to 20%. Spoke too soon. If we could get a report on that as soon as possible.
Yes, I will get it.
Mohan, Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Myers.
What salary range should be finally determined up to the police chief? Do you have any idea of what we're going with?
75,000.
And that's what everything's geared now?
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mohan, a couple weeks ago you did present some facts about where we can get money from. And I brought up some information about when we did budget, what some of that money was supposed to be used for. So all your figures a few weeks ago, some of those were reduced, is that correct? So we lost areas where you thought we could pull money from. We're saying that overtime is down in the police department. However, we know the nice weather is coming up, and if anyone drove here today, we saw an increase of traffic on the streets, not only for people driving, but from the youth walking up and down the streets and throughout the village. So I think the other thing to realize is I think that professional services, not including just our own professional services, but because of pending and threatening litigation, because of litigation from the outside, we do also have other attorney fees and things like that that we have to pay. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. if we do not get the proportional service expenditures, it definitely is going to go skyrocket. It will be overboard by at least 50 to 60% more than what we have already budgeted so far.
We're looking at 50 to 60% over what we budgeted. And I guess, you just got done telling us we have approximately $216,000 in our account. I guess the question would be, how much further can we go? Do you have an estimated time before we have to start borrowing money from the water fund and start paying payroll? Are we looking within the next 2 or 3 months, or?
Probably under 3-4 months.
So within 3 or 4 months, we will have to start borrowing money again from our water fund, just so we can make payroll. Thank you, sir.
3 or 4 months now, you should be starting to see tax revenue starting to come in 3 to 4 months. Tax bill will be coming out in July, probably be paid in either August or September this year. Your tax bill will be out early.
So
you'll start seeing your tax bill either the end of July to be paid in August, or August to be paid in September this year.
However, we already know in June or July we'll have to start borrowing money from other funds to make payroll. So again, that's still quite a few months away from once we start borrowing money. And once we do start receiving our tax funds into the village tax revenue, we know we have to pay those funds back to the accounts we borrowed from.
As it is, we have borrowed almost about $335,000 from the water fund so far.
So we already owe $300-some-thousand back to the water fund once we start seeing tax revenue?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's very important. Thank you very much for allowing us to give you this.
What was that amount,
$335,000. That's not some change.
Well, that should answer that question.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Burgess.
I do have something to say. That I have been saying this all the time, and I'm still going to continue to keep saying as far as financial. And Mr. Mayor, you stated that you've tried to work with this board. Clearly, all the evidence is to the contrary, sir. During the months leading to and including the budget hearings, you had an opportunity to create an item, a line item for an outside police chief at that time when we did budget hearings. However, you said nothing, not a word. You said nothing during the budget approval. You didn't veto the budget, the village budget. You approved it along with the other trustees. But now we're forced, this village, an appointment that was not budgeted. Then you tell the town that you're trying to work with this board, and to top it off, you yourself sued this board in a political game you wanted to play, to force upon the people of your brand of politics, sir. Mr. Mayor, the removal of the village manager lays at your feet. It really does. We are merely trying to follow the only alternative that you're giving us. And you initiated with your appointment, and you left this village board no other choice. Therefore, since, to quote yourself, the choice is clear. While I personally am concerned about our ability to conduct day-to-day operations without a village manager, you're making it painfully obvious that this is not your concern at all, sir. I would have thought after yesterday's event that the former mayor's inspiring speeches and their impressive plea from you and the board to move this village forward, that you would have been alarmed and not going off. But clearly, sir, you didn't listen to that alarm. Therefore, I stand resolute that we must bring balance back to our budget. The smoke and mirrors recommendations that we just talked about and solutions to our problems are not the answer. Our employees are real people, sir. People with lives, people with families, and now you're playing with their lives and their livelihood. Sir, this is clearly your choice. We've asked you over and over again about the appointment that you made, that we didn't have the money for that, sir. Now you're putting us, and I said this before, you're putting this board against a certain employee because of what you wanted. you're making this board make a decision that I don't think it should have ever been to that point. That particular position was budgeted for, sir, in the budget. We asked you at the time not to go forth with this, to try to do something other than to work with what you had in place and not have to hire someone and then turn right around in 3 or 4 months and get rid of them because of the money that we don't have, that we already knew going and we didn't have when you appointed a person as the chief. We've asked you this, sir. Now we're sitting here, everyone's looking at we're the bad people to let someone, this is money. This is a person's life. She came here, thought she had a job. She knew possibility that you were going to sue, which you had stated in open board meeting, that whoever we hired, you were going to sue to get that person removed. Then you found out it was someone else, I don't know. I guess you had a change of heart and you didn't do that. Now, not only did you not do that, you stretched the envelope and went out knowing that there's no money and hired a police chief because that's what you wanted to do after 18 months of keeping a certain person in. But you could have worked from within. Now we're sitting here in the dilemma now, playing with people's lives and have her life and her family's life at the balance because you chose to hire a person that was not budgeted for. Let's just put the cards on the table. The position that you hired for was not budgeted. Not only did that happen, you also sued so we would have to pay more money for the litigation for yourself and for this person that both of you guys went and got the same lawyer to do that. And we have other litigation going. We have ongoing litigation. You're talking about $300,000 that we have. This is going to be close to $500,000 by the time we get through a litigation. That's just for 2012 alone. Because we have other litigation that's coming in and other things that we're passing. So this money, we asked you not to do this. So we asked you, said, why can't we do it? No. You had to have it your way. Now you're making it look like the board is doing this. The board is not doing this, sir. This was your call. We asked you at the time not to do this, not to put this lady in harm's way like that.
So you finished, trustee?
No, I'm not.
Keep going.
No, I'm not finished because I'm trying to find out from you
why. Going to end this?
No, where are you going to end, sir?
Same.
Where are you going to end?
All the time. So I don't know
where are you going to end, sir? When are you going to stop doing this? It's not a grandstand. No, it's not.
You're going over the same thing.
Trustees have the floor. Point of order.
It's a shame when you don't want to hear what you want, when it's not conducive to your way. Sir,
point of order. I can call point of order.
I'm calling you to order. I'm calling you to order. Trustee Hanks, you out of order.
Good.
You out of order. Trustee, you out of order.
Mayor's out of order.
Sir, it's not a matter of grandstanding. This is a person's life. I'm sorry, you're a boss. You're in charge of a department for the government. You know how people's life. You don't tell someone, we'll see what we can do, and we're going to try to do it. And you knew that their money was not there for that particular appointment. You knew this, sir, but you went ahead and you said, so I'm going to test them anyway. I'm going to try it. I'm going to test and see what happens. In the meantime, that's a person's livelihood and life and family that you put in jeopardy. You knew this in the beginning. To continue to say that it's our fault, it is not our fault. We asked you to work, sir, but you continue to do like you do before. When I asked you for way back when we had Ace Hardware, and I asked you not to put a sanction on that, you said, no, I'm going to do what I want to do. So this is the same thing, sir. Now you're making the board vote against and show that you're trying to, I'm trying to make things happen. I'm trying to move forward. I don't have help. I need day-to-day operations. Yes, you do. If you needed that, then why did you have to go in? The police department had someone, all you had to do was appoint someone else, move them up, take them off for overtime. If they felt that they weren't...
It sounds like grandstanding.
It's not grandstanding. It's grandstanding because it's not what you want to hear.
Keep going over and over and over.
If you're gonna stop this, then from this point on, sir, the very next time a trustee, any trustee, talks on a subject more than once, I myself will get the hell up and walk out, because that's exactly what happens here.
I'm really so glad that Trustee Burgess keep bringing up about how he is watching the taxpayer money, but yet and still I can't understand why Trustee Burgess, along with Trustee Hanks, along with Trustee Williams, all before that I became a mayor, they would allow anybody to do anything from paying the attorney $400 an hour, unheard of, paying insurance for employees, 100% for the insurance. So if you're talking about watching the taxpayer money, or paying employees for 4 hours of work and paying them for 8 hours of work, and then still go out and buy a fire truck, use the money for something else. Well, now we still got to pay for it, but yet and still, Trustee Bird can sit here and tell you, I'm watching the taxpayer money. I'm trying to make sure that we get it. But yet and still, we still look at right now. You asked about the police department, all of the overtime. You can't tell me that you're concerned about the village resident money, and you allow this type of overtime, $300,000 to $400,000 a year in overtime, and you allow. Hold on. You can't tell me you're concerned about the taxpayer when you allow 5 cars to go home with gas as much as it is, and they'll go across state line, so you're concerned about taxpayer money. You can't tell me you're concerned about taxpayer money when you allow 5 sergeants to get tea time when it's nowhere in their contract, but yet and still we're concerned about taxpayer money. This is Trustee Burgess. He was as a trustee for a while. Trustee Hank echoed all the time. I'm the senior trustee. He was here making all of these decisions, or not making the decision, but yet and still he was approving it. Trustee Williams, sitting here. Chief, will you get order in here, please?
It's your job, Mr. Mayor. It's your job. Try doing it.
So I can't understand why all of a sudden now that Trustee Burgess is echoing and flying about now that I'm watching the taxpayer money. When he asked about removing the chief, yeah, I told him from day one that I was not comfortable with the interim chief. I was not. They said, okay. Trustee Burgess said, all right, then find somebody else. And he won't tell you that, but they all know that I submitted a name to them, that someone that I was going to have. They said in the meeting right then and there, no, we would not pay. We don't care who. This is who we want. This is who you're going to have. They're not going to force anything down my throat like that. Now, the other thing is, yes, they asked about the going to court. Absolutely. They'll be in court tomorrow. If they proceed to get rid of the village manager, which they seem to do, I will be in court tomorrow to file a lawsuit again against this board. There will be another lawsuit against this board. You can get ready for it, whether or not they come out the village block or not, because we know that this board right now do not have the right to continue to fire people and do whatever they want to do and write their own laws. And yet we will be in court tomorrow to make sure the village manager will be here to continue to do the day-to-day operation of this village. We talked about it many a time, how the last time that they let the village manager go on some trumped-up charges, and then now here they come again, going to come up and tell you that we don't have money. Her money is already in the budget. Why in the heck are we talking about her money? It's already in the budget. But yet and still, that's what Hanks want to do. He's the leader of this group. The other one is just look puppet that's running along. Every time he dang along, that's what they do. They go along and agree what he said. Hanks is leading. He wants to make sure that he tell everything that what it should be, and he know everybody, the rest of them know that this is not correct. They know, but they don't have a voice of their own. They all want to agree to whatever Hanks say. What Hanks say, that's what goes.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor.
Use my tax dollars to do all that.
Mr. Mayor.
Hold on.
Mr. Mayor, I have the floor
He needs to be recognized. Trustee, in order for a trustee to have the floor, they need to be recognized by the board commissioner. That's you, Mr. Mayor. If you don't recognize it, then they cannot talk. They try to talk to you, they are out of order. And in order to recognize, they must stand up according to the Robert rules and wait to be recognized. If they do not stand up, then they don't recognize you.
Wherever you are.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I just want to couple things. I'm not the ringleader, just so you residents know. You can only laugh about that too much. But I think what we have before us tonight is the dismissal according to the contract. There's nothing against ordinances. The contract that was in place allows the village board, according to paragraph number 7, to move forward on this. So I think what you have to realize is we're not doing anything according to the ordinances. We're doing it according to the contract. The other thing, too, is just so the residents kind of get a little bit of history lesson here. In June of 2009, the mayor replaced the village manager position with a chief of staff position. That was because the mayor, at the time, did not have an individual who was qualified to be a village manager. So he if you want to call it, watered down the requirements for a village manager, called it a village chief of staff. In 2010, the chief of staff position was eliminated due to budget cuts. And in June of 2011, an ordinance was placed to create an administration position for a position titled village manager. And the position is hired by the Board of Trustees. I think we made it very clear, I think Trustee Burgess pointed it out, but just to echo, this overriding the mayor's veto tonight is because the mayor appointed a police chief that was not budgeted for. There was no money allocated for that position. The mayor had the opportunity, while we sat through 3 different budget hearings, to add it to the budget to find out where we could get the money from. And we all know that the courts sided with the mayor and said that the Chief Fox will remain as chief as long as the mayor is in this position or until another chief is hired. So, again, we are supposed to be up here being fiscally responsible for the money that you allow us to spend. There's no money for this position, and we already heard that we've already borrowed over $300,000 from the water fund already. So when tax revenue starts coming in, we have to pay that money back. So don't be deceived by, as Trustee Burgess said, the smoke and mirrors that the mayor wants to put out, because the money is not there. And this tonight is for financial reasons only, because if the mayor would not have appointed a position that was not allocated for and was not budgeted for, I have no doubt that the village manager would still be sitting here next week. And that's why. So again, I'm making it very clear. We are making this call tonight based off the contract, paragraph number 7, that allows the village board to end the contract with a 30-day written notice. She's already received her written notice. It should end, if I remember right, this Friday. It's her last day, and we've done it according to the contract.
Let me just say that to take away the village manager, we didn't look at other personnel that really do not have the same type of responsibility as your village manager. There's other personnel that we could have looked at. I'm talking about that's not a union person that we could have been looking at. That's not as important as the village manager, someone that we've all seen what happened when over the last couple of years that we didn't have a village manager, and what happened, things fell through the crack and things didn't get done. We lost money, couldn't find money because there's nobody was there handling the day-to-day operation. But yet and still we want to go back and set the village back again when the finance director, the village manager is saying there's money, there's funding there. But again, Hanks just keep echoing, and it's all about Hanks. I mean, we still know that there is a position that we could have, that really has not the kind of responsibility of a village manager. And for us to continue to set the village back by not having someone handling the day-to-day operation, I think it's just ludicrous. And no matter who they said that it was the mayor's responsibility to, because he hired a village police, the police department, the village needs someone in the police department to make sure that things get done according to the village ordinance, according to the union rules. Those things, we got somebody in there now to do it. We got someone in here as a village manager who has been doing an excellent job of making sure that our village keeps moving forward. But every time it seems as though that we get in a position to continue to move forward, this board, led by Trustee Hanks, still wants to try to make sure that things stop. And he keeps echoing about he wants to move it forward. Then move it forward by allowing the village manager to do her job, allowing the village chief of police to do their job, and try to move the village forward. At this point now, we are not going to move. We got so many things. You heard the village manager did her report a few minutes ago. All the different things that needs to be addressed. So I guess we're going to let the village clerk address those items. Or we're going to allow the trustee to address those items. Or we're going to allow Trustee Hanks to come in and address those items. Something we have to know. There are some things, responsibility in this village that trustee cannot do. They don't have the capability of doing that. Well, if they could do it, that would have been their job all from day one. They can't do that. That's why the village has always had someone to run the day-to-day operation.
That's right.
We can't,
right.
and I'm not talking. I'm not just talking about where we are. We need to make sure somebody is here running the day-to-day operation of this building. We cannot afford not to. But where we are now and what we are doing now, we cannot afford to not have somebody to run the day-to-day operation of this building. There's too many things that needs to be done, needs to be taken care of before them to just drop right now and somebody else to try to pick it up.
Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Williams.
Just a couple of questions I have. We talked about things that need to be followed up on. Ms. Turner, did we get any information regarding the documentation for the tow that we discussed in executive session last week? Okay. Are we getting a copy of that?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so we got that. Did we get any information regarding the qualifications or the stuff that we got in our packets 3 weeks weeks ago, from the Illinois Training Standards Board that we addressed regarding the qualifications of police chief actually being able to carry a weapon. Was there any update on that?
Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Leave it on. Just leave it on.
Yes, I have it in my office, but I haven't had a chance to make copies. I got them late this afternoon.
Okay, I'd like to see that. And then do we have any update on the background check that was directed for Mr. Fox to go take it to the police department?
No, we do not.
And then did we get any information about the number of grievances that we've had since he's been in office in the last task force? Well, do we have that number?
We met with Felicia Frazier from Olson and Stowe. She has those copies, and going forward, and I can't speak to those in open session, but they are coming and pending. Some of them have been resolved in step 1, some have gone to step 2, but I have forwarded all of them to the attorney Felicia Frazier, and I have not received a report back as of yet. Trustee Burgess was at the meeting, and we talked about some of them, but I have not had a report yet from the attorney.
So we don't have an actual finite number?
No, we do not.
Okay. And I would like to see those documents after the board meeting, the 2-month qualifications and the tow. But kind of piggybacking on some of the things that have been said, I know the mayor discussed the attorneys we had for $400 an hour. I just want to state that that was one attorney, that was Lou Veto. He was our tip attorney. We used him for tip expenses only. I'd like to just, a little information for everybody. If you don't look at what we do for tips now, we had, at one time, a representative from Delgado Law Group at $175 an hour. We had a representative from the Sully Group at $175 an hour. And we had a representative from, I think, Gonzalez Associates at $175 an hour. That's $125 more an hour than we did with Mr. Vertulo, who had triple the experience of those 3 people combined when it came to tips. If any of you, I did actually come to the dedication ceremony late yesterday, but I was presented with a bunch of pictures that they had, and the picture of Lou Vetulo from 1973 didn't even look like him, but that's how long he's been working with our village. 1973. That was the man we paid $400 an hour for. Instead, we paid 3 different individuals $175 an hour that had an 1/8 of his experience with the village of Sauk Village. So that's one item. Number 2, we talked about the overtime in the police department. I know that I've already asked for reports on that to be reported to the board. If you look at a certain individual that was brought up multiple times, he was the interim police chief for, I believe it was 18 months. It's been thrown around 4 different numbers of how much money he made overtime last year. The board asked that person be appointed. With the appointment of that individual, we would have saved one of those 4 denominations. $30,000, $40,000, $35,000, I heard $46,000, whatever the actual true denomination of his overtime salary would have been, we would have saved that in overtime because he would have been in that position.
Yeah.
Also, you had, the mayor stated that he did present a candidate to be put in that position because he was not comfortable with Mr. Lewis. Just to kind of clarify that, there was discussions about bringing somebody else new. He never formally presented anybody to the board. The board brought it to his attention because...
Wrong.
Wrong.
The board knows that I submitted somebody to that.
I was very quiet.
Go ahead.
At that time, when you did, unbeknownst to the board, submit a letter to Sergeant Salisbury, we then brought it to you because we were informed by outside sources, not by you. At that point in time, we did say that we wanted police. I won't say we, I will speak for me. I say that I wanted police. I say that we needed to have this person in there, and that we felt that that position was more qualified for that individual. At that time, you never presented anything to the board in executive session. At that time, you threw your hands in the air, and you said, well, if you don't want this person, we'll move on. Months later is when we came back with the appointment for Mr. Fox. There was a significant amount of time. So I don't want there to be any type of misconstrued of information saying that you suggested this person, you presented this person. We never had an opportunity to send out for any resumes. The job was never posted. However, it was never given the opportunity to meet in the back and discuss anything with the board because there was never a formal offer. So I want to make sure that that's on record. Regardless of the fact, and I know Trustee Burgess still has some stuff to say, but regardless of the fact, we have a motion and a second on the floor. You had the finance director tell us that as of right now today, he could cut a check for $90,000. We may not be able to do that tomorrow. We've got a police chief that is threatening litigation constantly, who refuses to sign a contract even though we attempted to have that signed. We've got the mayor threatening litigation as of tomorrow. You've got countless grievances that have not been rectified, have not been anything else. All we're doing is accumulating funds. You have the finance director also said, we're guaranteed a 3% increase in taxes. He turned around not 10 minutes later and said, we are guaranteed a 50 to 60% increase in professional services. That's legal fees for those of you who do not know. Now you're just, I'm not sure. Now you're going to add $10,000 more if the mayor sues. We're going to add $10,000 more if anybody else sues. We're going to continuously add that 50. We're going to add that 50 to 60% of professional services. So that 3% is not going to balance. That 3% was how much of the factor that you had in there? 2.5 million. Okay. We'll probably spend that in professional fees this year if we keep going the way we're going. So I think, as it stated, even though I did not vote for this previous motion for strictly for financial reasons, I did not vote for that. However, we're to the point where we have no money. So I'm not real sure. We can go back and forth, but the dollars don't make sense.
Let me just point out one thing that Trustee Williams said. $400 is $400 an hour no matter who gets it. It's still $400 an hour to one attorney. If you got three attorneys, the three attorneys were working on three different things. When we had the study group didn't have anything to do with it here. The study group was strictly that $165 what they paid them instead of the $400. That was just for general business of for the building. So that $400 an hour, whatever the attorney she was talking about, that's what that board approved that attorney to make. $400 an hour, unheard of. So no matter where it is or who got it, it's still a $400 an hour.
Just one more thing. In reference to Trustee Williams making a statement to the village manager that she wants to see all the grievances that have been submitted against the police chief, I don't think this board is privileged to that information. That is personnel, it's between her and the police manager. She is the supervisor of the police chief. That's between you and her, but not for this board to see along with the police commission. If there's any type of grievance or complaints that is forwarded to her, then that should be submitted, if she deems necessary, to the police commission, and not Trustee Williams or anyone else on this board. So, Mr. Mayor, I'm asking you to suggest to the village manager that she is not to give any grievances or any complaints from any officer about the police chief to anyone on this board, unless she gets approval from you to do it. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor. First of all, I do not like the fact that you have made a statement that we follow behind another person. I'm my own person. I'm my own person. We can all sing together. Come on. Because I'm gonna ask for my respect. I'm gonna give you yours. I'm gonna ask for mine. But you made a statement a few minutes ago that there may be another person that may not be as important, that their job may not be as important as the village manager's job, that there's a recommendation. So at this time, And also, before I ask this question, you know, for the, I don't know, assistant mayor to make a statement that I, as a elected official, cannot see what grievances that are being given to a department head on behalf of an employee, he needs to look that up and find out that we're privy to that as an elected official. So I don't know where he gets that from, but he needs to go back and read Little Mayor's book. But all I'm saying is, if you have a recommendation, sir, I would think now would be the time to bring that position up before we go any further. If you feel that there's another position, because we have a code right now, so you can look at the village and tell why, because that was the first thing that we said once we get some money, and once we find some money, before all the litigation happened, first thing we were going to do, before we even thought about bringing the police chief back, we was going to bring Cole back this summer. That was said last year. Look at the minutes. That was said last year. First time we could bring up some money, find some money, or do whatever, first thing we were going to do was bring Cole back so we could straighten this village back out. That's been on the back burner. So now, since you feel that there may be another person that you feel this job is not as important, and you would like to submit that person's name, I would like to hear what position that is, sir. Since you made that comment, that you may feel that we don't need at this particular point in time, that we can use that salary to go towards the salary that we're talking about, sir. I'm asking a question since you made that statement.
Trustee Bird is out.
Pardon me?
Trustee Bird is out.
I don't make enough. So if it's my salary, along with yours and half the boys won't make enough. Because I see, you know, like I said, you never use your salary for anything. But if my salary is going to keep somebody here, fine, give it up. I have a job. I'm not demanding on this job to pay my bills. But since you want to be smart about it, sir, you made a statement. Now it's a joke. Now, this is, like I said again, you're playing with people's money. You're playing with their livelihood. You made a statement that there may be a job or a position that's in the village that's not as important that we can look at. I'm asking you now, sir, what position is that we can look at, that we can do without, so we can pay this position?
Well, it's no secret. We have brought that position up and recommended that position once before to the board, and that is the secretary position in the police department.
She makes it that much? She makes enough to pay that salary?
That much, but with her salary and overtime, yeah, that would go towards that they keep a village manager as opposed to a secretary.
So is she in the union, sir? She's not in the union? Okay, do you want to make that recommendation, sir? You want to go over there and tell her that you'd like to relieve her of her job?
You want to tell Ms. Turner that you want to leave her?
But you're right here now. That's why I'm asking you now, sir. If that's the case, I have no problem with it. If you want to go and tell her that we have to let her go to pay for another salary, then we don't have to go any further. We can stop right now if that's what you want to do, because that's what you did when you appointed the chief and you had a position already that was already funded. That's exactly what you did. So now we're going to still repeat it again to pay Paul. We're going to go out and take care of something else and get rid of another person so you can still have your way.
Trustee, you've been driving Peter to pay Paul far before I got here, so don't tell me about driving Peter to pay Paul. In fact, we stopped some of that robbing.
You didn't stop it, sir. You've been mayor for 2009. You talked about the overtime that you came in and you saw. Why didn't you stop it back in 2009, 2010, and then 2011? Now you wait to 2012. Oh, wow, we need the money now. You had a chance. The overtime.
Now, sir, we stopping it now.
Oh, you stopped it.
You know it. I mean, everybody on the board, everybody knows that there was a problem with overtime. That ain't no secret. I mean, anybody that's in their common right mind knows that.
Then why didn't you do something about it 3 years ago, sir? When you came in, you knew that. Why didn't you do something about it then?
Because I brought it to the board's attention that we need to have some concern and do something about a number of different times. But what they say, leave the person in there that's making all the overtime and let him create the overtime.
Really?
That's who getting the overtime.
We said that.
That's who created, well, that's who you want.
No. See, you're wrong. That's not who we want. See,
That is who you wanted.
Sir, look at the records. Look who voted. Okay.
You wanted.
Like I said, you need to confer. You need to look at what the clerk put down.
If you look at that person right now, from 2012, you know, what kind of service are we getting out of the person now?
Sir, I do. Yes, you're right. You're right. I said.
And there's no secret in 2011. Anytime that you spend 60 days on vacation and you're supposed to be the leader of the department, it's something wrong.
Did he have the time coming, sir? Did he have the time coming? Did he have? Oh, he had okay. Oh, so that's what I'm saying.
If you're going to create your time, you're going to have.
Oh, he was able. Yeah, you knew he created this time.
Whoever created it said.
But my question, sir, I said, and I want you to admit this. I said in your office, sir, a year ago, along with another attorney from Studley Group, and I recommended, now you can deny this if you want to, and I'll bring the gentleman in here, and I recommended to you that if you didn't like who you had as chief, to move forth and get someone, this is over a year ago, did I not sit in your office and say that?
Did I not try?
No. Did I sit in your office and say that that's not who you wanted?
You recommended, I tried it.
But you said that we didn't want that. But you said we didn't want that.
You didn't. You didn't want it. What part of that you don't understand?
The part when I said in your office. I said in your office, sir. I sat in your office and told you if that's not who you wanted, that you need to move forward. And you said, okay. Now you're saying that I didn't say that. Okay.
Did I not move forward though?
Yes. Then what happened?
You asked me.
You got it.
Not here.
No, because you took this recommendation away and you said no. You took it away, sir.
Clerk, call the roll, please.
Any other comments? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
This is a motion to overturn the meeting, correct?
To dismiss the village manager.
Benson.
No.
Burgess.
Wait to the end.
Chavez.
Oh no! Wait till the end.
Wait.
That's for you to do that, right? That's fine, right? I understand. Yeah, I'm growing.
Okay, no, I didn't mean to disrupt that. Go ahead.
Chavez.
Yes.
Hanks.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. But let me say that I am going to be in court. I'm going to appoint Ms. Turner as the village manager of the Sauk Village. We're going to appoint her every 30 days, and we will be in court to uphold that.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I just want to bring it to your attention that you don't have the power or the authority to appoint the village manager. And I'll bring up ordinance 11-023, that the position of the village manager is a position, it's a created position of the village manager as an administrative position. You do not have the power to hire any administrative position. It's also the village manager should be hired by the village board of trustees. So the position of the village manager is hired by the board of trustees. So you do not have the power to do this. And I'm also asking for the attorney to give some input in this one also. Mr. McGrath, or Attorney McGrath?
Mr. Mayor.
Attorney McGrath, I'm looking for advice from the attorneys. Mr. Mayor, I turn my time over to Attorney McGrath.
According to state statute, Mr. Mayor, according to state statute, statute, you do have the power. We, as a board of trustees of the Village of Sauk Village, is not a home rule community. We cannot make and create our own laws outside of the state already created statutes. And since Mayor Jr. over here, Trustee Hanks, wants to come up with his own ordinances, they have already been set back with a judge by telling them they cannot try to take away the powers of the mayor. But yet they continue to do it. Mr. Mayor, I suggest that you put this to a stop and let's continue with public comments. You do not need to hear from the attorney right now. It's already done. Let's just do it. Public comments, let's move on.
Mr. Mayor, I turn my time over to Attorney McGrath. I'm asking for his input on what power you have to appoint a 30-day position to an administrative position. Attorney McGrath?
We will go for public comment.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to recess.
Use the mic.
We got a motion and a second on the floor. Village clerk, call roll.
Listen.